Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again and we're back on doing the random commander thing today. So today's commander, as you all know by the title of the video, is Teysa, Orzhov, Scion, 1 white and black for a 2/3 human advisor. You can sacrifice 3 white creatures to exile a creature, and then whenever another black creature you control dies, you get a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. Yeah. Again, going back in time, I think this was Guildpact, if I remember correctly, the original card. It's been reprinted a few times since then. But, yeah, still got a cover because it's what the random button gave me on EDH Rec. And, yeah, so it's all a bit of fun. Obviously, there's going to be quite a few ways of getting 3 white creatures and some black creatures to deal with things. So here we go. Here's what today's deck really does look like. So, starting at the beginning, we have 6 Planeswalkers in today's deck, and they all produce tokens in some way, shape or form. So, Archangel Elspeth gives us a 1/1 soldier with lifelink, or we can turn something to an angel, and then we can bring, if we get to the -6, get everything back that costs 3 or less from our graveyard to the battlefield. From there, Scion, Lord of Innistrad. Now, admittedly, the +1's nice to get the vampire with lifelink. That's a black creature, that's fine. It helps us for this bit up here. But you're always going to do Scion, Lord of Innistrad, and do the -2 to get that emblem, because it's probably one of the quickest and easiest ways of getting an emblem from any planeswalker around. So bear that in mind. Elspeth Stormslayer's in to double up our token production when we do it. Obviously, we play this, we +1 and we get 2 soldier creature tokens, so that's nice. Love the Spider Queen's here, so we can draw some cards, get some black spider creature tokens with Reach and Menace that become spirits when they die, because this does not say anything about non-token creatures, it just says a creature you control, so that's nice. From there, we go to Teysa, Doom of Fools, so we can get the black Thrall tokens and sacrifice creatures off if we need to draw cards, and if we sacrifice our commander for some reason we get to draw 2 cards. And finally, Elspeth, Sun's Champion, 3 1/1 white soldier tokens, blow up everything with power of 4 or more, and hopefully we do want to try and get to the -7 on here if we can, to give all our creatures +2/+2 and flying. So there we go, they're the Planeswalkers to kick off this deck today. Viscera is in to give us a way to scry things through and sacrifice off some of our black creatures to find the cards we need. Blood Artist, because why would we not have Blood Artist, Corpse Knight, Cruel Celebrant, Ilkor, Sadistic Pilgrim in here, when we can gain life and make people lose life. They all do the same thing. Now, I have included a few of the Afterlife creatures because, we can use them for Tevesh up here, and when they die, they give us white and black spirit creature tokens. So, yeah, that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, go with that. Marionette Apprentice is just another way of making sure we can get people drained off. Orzhov Enforcer is here. Death Touch, Afterlife, you know the score. It's quite a nice blocker for 2 mana, to be fair. Death Touch tends to hold back a lot of people when the games first start, so you've got a reasonable blocker here. Reassembling Skeletons just in for a bit of fun, because we can pay the black and the black and colourless, to return it from our graveyard to the battlefield tapped each turn. It's not sorcery speed, you can do it anytime you want to, so yeah, might help. Sutra Priest does the whole life gain, life loss thing, and then from Edge of Eternity, Sir Vondum, Sunstar Exemplar makes an appearance today. Whenever another creature you control dies with put into exile, +1/+1 counter, gain a life. And then hopefully we'll get this up to power 4 quite quickly, so if this does die off, we can blow up another non-land permanent someone else controls. Again, from Age of Eternity's Umbra Collar Zealot makes an appearance to do the whole surveilling bit. Zulaport Cutthroat, so everyone drains and we gain. And Enduring Innocence, we have quite a few creatures with power 2 or less, and when they enter, we get to draw a card. So, that's fine. Once the turn's fine, and obviously when this dies, it comes back again as a permanent enchantment on the board instead of a creature, so it's all good. Cabal, the Profiteering Mare, makes an appearance today. Whenever one or more tokens are enter the battlefield under our opponent's control, we get a copy of them. Triggers once a turn, and it's tapped, but we still get a copy of them, so it can be useful. Lauren of the Third Path had to be in, take out that annoying artifact or enchantment, and start making friends to draw cards with. Ministrant of Obligation is also in, Afterlife 2. And Ophthalmancer, we're going to have our little snake coming into play probably every turn, because, sacking off the snake isn't the end of the world to get spirit. Teysa, Opulent Oligarch. We have got all the other versions of a Teysa in the deck, just so aware. This one, beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. And then whenever a clue you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you get a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token. Triggers once a turn, so, sack a clue off on everyone else's turn. But yeah, that's fine. Web and Craft Enthusiast has Fabricate 2, so comes into play. We can have a 2/3 if we need it, or we can have a 0/1 and 2/1/1s to go alongside it with the servos. Woe Strider gives us some white goat creatures, which we can, well, a white goat creature we can sack off to scry if we need to, and we can escape this if we need to as well at some stage. Baron Bertram Greywater, another one. 1/1 wall tokens enter the battlefield under our control. We get a 1/1 vampire rogue token with lifelink. Triggers once a turn, but it gives us another way of sacrificing a creature or an artifact to draw a card for 1 and a black. Elenda, the Dusk Rose. Another creature dies. This gets bigger. When this dies, we eventually get a whole load of white 1/1 vampire creature tokens with lifelink. And because we are sacrificing a lot of tokens, Mirkwood Bats comes in as well for this one. Mondrak, no-brainer, double up our token production. Pitless Plunderer, we like this. Whenever another creature you control dies, we get a treasure token that isn't tapped. So, yay. Start getting some extra mana for our tokens we don't need anymore. Syndicate Messenger is just a flying 2/3 for 4 mana, but when it dies, we get the spirit. Tessa Karloff, the other version of it, whenever a creature dying causes a trigger ability of a permanent we control to trigger, that triggers an additional time, and creature tokens we control have vigilance and lifelink. Okay. Endrick Sar Master Breeder. Now, I like Endrick. All the way back from Time Spiral. Whenever you play a creature spell, you get to put X 1/1 black thrall creature tokens into play, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. But you have to be a bit careful, because you don't want to ever have more than 7 thralls in play, because when you do, you get to lose Endrick, unless you're doubling up the creature doubling up the token production with something like Mondrak. It's a bit of a no-brainer. You just sack the creatures off as you play other things, so bear that in mind. Exalted Sunborn comes in from Edge of Eternities, because another way of doubling up our token production. Night of Sorrows is just an afterlife card, but it gives us a way of blocking a couple of extra creatures each turn, so yeah, it does help a bit. Thassa, Revenant Medium, also makes an appearance at the beginning of each end step. Create X 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying, where X is the number of tokens we created this turn, so yeah, we do get to do this in everybody's end step, not just our own. Deptor's Transport, 5/3, 6 mana, Afterlife 2. Bit expensive, but hey, the Afterlife's fun. And then Oge Attack, Deepest Foundation, so we want to triple our creature token production if we can. And then the other version of Teysa is here, the Envoy of Ghosts. Vigilance, pro from creatures. Creatures that deal you damage, basically you destroy it, and then you get a spirit token for, well, white 1/1 black and white spirit creature token onto the battlefield with flying. Sorceries are basically a lot of board control and some extra bits. So Dam's in as well. Destroy a target creature for targeted removal, or we can overload it and do the Wrath of God side of things. Marshall Coop gives us a way of getting a whole load of soldier tokens if we need them, and then blowing the board up with everything else again if we need to. Lingering Souls, we're in a black-white deck. Might as well have this here to get those white spirit creature tokens. Toxic Deluge helps us control the board by spending some life, which it should be alright with the amount of life gain we have previously talked about. Damnation for a bit more board control, and then Afterlife from the Loam coming in from the Tarkir Dragonstorm Precon decks. Yeah, delve this away. Each creature chooses up to 1 target creature card in that player. For each player, choose a creature in that player's graveyard. You gain control of them, and they're zombies in addition to their normal types. Instance, well, Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshares for the targeted removal. Secure the Wastes to get a whole load of warrior tokens at the end step if we need them, or if we need to have a whole load of blockers, otherwise we're going to die. Afterlife Insurance comes in from the clue set. This is quite nice. Creatures you control gain Afterlife 1 until the end of turn. Draw a card. So, in theory, you can respond to Mass Wrath of God, or Damnation, or Blasphemous Act, or Chain Reaction, or something that's going to wipe out your board. Give all your creatures, including your tokens, Afterlife, and they all become spirits. Yeah, happy with that. Teferi's Protection, obviously a bit of a game changer, so we have this in just to protect us. And then we have the artifacts. Elixir of Immortality to shuffle everything back in when it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Jet Medallion, Pearl Medallion, Mind Stone, Thought Vessel, all variations apart from the Elixir of Ramp. Enchantment wise, Intangible Virtue, because we might as well give our token creatures we're producing +1/+1 and Vigilance. The Meat Hook Massacre to again do the whole life drain, life gain. Bastion Remembrance, again life drain, life gain. Anointed Procession, no brainer. I know in paper version this card I think is kicking around about $50 at the moment, so they are still worth picking up. I was very lucky because I picked up my playset very early on when they first came out back in the day. But they are still a card I recommend everyone has at least one of in their collection. So if you've got one, great. If you haven't, you might want to think about getting one if you can. Core of Grace, because even if you're not the Monarch, you still get your Spirit Creature token. And then the Funeral Room does the whole life gain, life loss thing. And eventually, if you can do the Awakening Hall and bring all your creature cards back from the graveyard, even better. Though 8 mana can be a little bit tough, especially since I'm only playing 34 lands. I mean, I know there's a lot of ramp. 34 lands may be an understatement, but we are playing Ajiga, the Windswept Bastion, because I do quite like this card from the new Edge of Eternity set. And yeah, making a token copy of an artifact or enchantment we control, except it's legendary, is sometimes quite useful. Bleachbone Verge is in, and all the rest of it are the black-white lands you'd expect to see. Because I was playing Teferi's Protection, it made perfect sense to me to play Field of the Dead to give us a few more zombie tokens we can sacrifice off. And that's really it. There's no Reliquary Tower, no Temple of the False God today, just left them out for a change. So there you go. That is my take on Teysa, Orzhov, Scion. Again, a bit random for today, but hey, that's what the random button's for. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below if you think there's anything I've missed out, if there's anything you think should be included. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, help me build the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with yet another one of the decks that I've hit the random button on and it's come up with. So for now, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye bye.